So I'm sure some of you have been wondering, is this guy going to do any game reviews? The answer is yes. This is going to be my first one. This is also the first time I'm doing a voiceover, so I'm not even sure if this is working. I may just be sitting in my office talking to myself. In any case, this game is Blue Wish Resurrection Plus. This is a free game for the PC, and it's a bullet hell shmup, and as you just saw, there's 4 different ships you can choose from: Blue Wish, Blue Hope, Blue Peace, and Eden's Edge. Each one has different shot styles. This is Blue Wish right here, and you can see this is a wide shot, and then when you hold the shot button down, you get a more focused shot. Here you see me collecting a power-up, which will increase your firepower. You also have 3 bombs, and while they don't do a whole lot of damage, they will at least block some of the enemy projectiles. Now there's also bullet canceling in this game. You can see when you destroy some of the larger enemies, you'll actually cancel out some of the bullets on the screen, and you get points for the more bullets that are on screen when you destroy these larger enemies. This is Blue Hope, and as you just saw, when you hold the shot button down on this one, you get a very powerful shot that's flanked on either side by a laser. Now, one of the interesting things about this game, I think, is that sometimes the larger enemies will leave behind these little pods, and then if you shoot them, you can get extra points. Like, for instance, this tank that I just blew up, you can see a little pod appeared there, and now I'm collecting points out of that. I'm not really sure what exactly that's called, but I think it's kind of a nice feature. And I'm sure you noticed I just took a hit there. Now, this is not a one-hit kill game. You could take several hits, and you may or may not like that. I think it's okay, especially if you're like me and you're not terribly good at these kind of games. Now, you will notice that there is a little bit of slowdown, and I think that that's probably in the game, but it could be my machine. I'm not really sure. Blue Peace has a homing shot, which is kind of nice because then you don't really have to aim, but you do sacrifice some of the power of the shot. Alright, coming up here we've got a nice little mid-boss. One other feature of this game that I forgot to mention earlier that I think is kind of nice is when you get a lot of bullets on screen or when they get close to you, you can actually see your hitbox. You can see it's kind of lit up in the middle of the ship there, or it was just a minute ago. But I think that's a nice, helpful feature. Now, this last ship here is Eden's Edge, and as you can see, you have sort of these 4 little pods, and if you just tap the fire button, they'll kind of roam around on their own. And then if you hold the fire button, then they'll all kind of come together for a large shot. Now, I find this to be a little off-putting, but you know, I think there are a lot of people that like this kind of a shot. Okay, here's a quick look at a boss battle, and if you're wondering why I'm firing and then not firing and firing and then not firing, I have no idea. In any case, I think the bosses in this game are very well designed. A lot of them are sort of multi-part. You can kind of blast parts off of them. And I think there's a nice variety of projectiles, both speeds and directions and, you know, different maneuvers. You see a little bit of slowdown here again. But, you know, I think these are really well-designed bosses, and I had a lot of fun with them myself. And you'll notice coming up here, I'm going to run straight into a large, slow-moving projectile. Why I do that, I don't know. And then I'm somehow gonna manage to avert all of these faster moving ones. I don't even know what to say. Alright, and coming up here we have the obligatory nice big explosion of the boss with some nice, I think nice sound. And the sound in general in the game I think is great. I think all the guns and the bombs and everything just sound nice and powerful. So I've been a little under the weather the last couple of weeks. And a couple of weeks ago I was just out of my mind on NyQuil. And I decided to just go ahead and, you know, do a playthrough, just see what I got. And you can see it's really sloppy and really reckless, but somehow it turned out about as well as it normally does for me. So I'm not sure what that says about my gameplay, but I thought I'd show you a little bit of it here at the end. And while you're watching that, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about a complaint some of you may have had about this review already, which is that this is not really an old school game. I mean, it's only a couple years old. But I wanted to talk about that a little bit, and that's part of the reason I chose this as my first game review, is that I think old school is kind of a principle. It's a challenge. Some of the old games that I remember didn't have continues. I mean, when you died, and if you wanted to see more of the game, you just had to get better at it. And I think sometimes that's missing in some of the newer games, not all of them, obviously. But I kind of miss that a little bit. And just this incredible challenge. And of course, in a lot of these shmups, this one included, you can just continue through if you want to see the end. But I think doing so is kind of missing the point. I think the real joy in these games is practicing, getting better, and then, you know, having that one magical playthrough when, you know, somehow on one credit or even one ship you've made it all the way through the game. You know, the odds are completely stacked against you and you win anyway. And I think for me anyway, that's the appeal of the games. That's the reason I love them so much. And for those of you out there who maybe haven't spent a whole lot of time with this kind of game, this might be a good way to start. It's free, and I think it's a great game. I think it's well made, it's well balanced. And this might be a great way to explore some old school gaming. Not to mention there are explosions and a techno soundtrack. I mean, come on. So I think the real strength in this game is something. Shit.